What's up, guys? It's your boy James, aka Six8Jay, coming to you on this Tuesday. We're a few minutes late, but that's okay. The greatest way to start your day is with your boy James, aka Six8Jay. Let me always remind you guys that nothing I talk about should ever be considered or deemed financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just documenting my journey in the evolution of money. I've been around crypto since 2017 and been excited to share these amazing moments with my family. What's up, OMC? Welcome, my friend. Radstar2212. How you doing, my friend? Liz, my sis, and all you guys that are joining us today. I appreciate you guys in a major way. Guys, I have a special guest. But before I bring on, let me go over a couple things that we normally talk about before we get into who this superstar guest is. Right now, we have a coin. We have a market cap right now, guys, of $1.24 trillion. Good Lord. Were we just not at 1.09, then 1.14, now 1.24? Did anybody tell Bitcoin that we're in a recession? Did anyone remind Satoshi Nakamoto that there may be a war starting? I don't know. Bitcoin don't give a damn. I'm just saying, good Lord. We're at 33,734, guys. Ethereum right now is over 1,700 at 1,774, flirting with that 1,800 mark. We got BNB at 225, XRP 55 cents. Just hit 58 cents early this morning, but you know what? Don't FOMO, huh? That's not financial advice. Good Lord. I might FOMO after the stream. Solana is at 30 cents. We've got, actually 30 cents, $30. We got Cardano at 27 cents. Dogecoin, that old crazy dog, is up 12% over the last week. Good Lord, huh? Anybody tell Doge it belongs in the kennel? I don't know. Elon didn't. It's at 6 cents right now. We've got Polygon Matic at 62 cents. That old stinky linky Chainlink just came back under $10. We've got Polkadot. Uh-oh. Huh? Every time I see dot, I get excited. Let me see. Shiba's at 7 zeros. No, what is it? Uno, dos, tres. Cinco zeros and a 7. We've got Stellar XLM. That's the next big thing, guys. You know how I feel about that one. It's at 11 cents right now. We got OKB at 46 cents. We've got Ethereum based token, which is Uniswap, 418. We've got Filecoin at 380. We got HBAR at 5 cents. ICP 355. We've got Chronos, so undervalued, flirting with that 6 cents right now. VeChain. Uh-oh, will VeChain make us all rich? I don't know. We'll see. Optimism. We've got a lot of optimism right now about this case with Ripple, XRP, and the SEC ending very soon, as there's possibilities of the settlement being talked about. Optimism right now, that layer 2 that just launched this year is at 137. We got QNT at 97.72. Arbitrum, another layer 2 that has not seen a bull run, that's at 88 cents. Near, let's make it clear, Near is only 133 or 113. We have ING at 11.68. We've got Stack. Just like Stack that we play every day, Tell Song. You guys know what it is. Stack it up. We got GRT, which is the top 10 AI coin on the planet right now. You can Google it. It's at 9 cents right now. Algo, we got a lot of plans for that one. Up 8% for the last 7 days. It's at 9 cents. RNDR at 209. We got the coin formerly known as Multiverse X or EGLD at 28.80. Let me see. XDC, we're expecting a whole lot of things from XDC. It's at 4 cents. XTZ is also at 70 cents. Sandbox and Mana both sitting around that 32, 34 cents. Let's see, what else we got? Neo, Because of You. I tell you guys all the time, I try to sing. I sound good in the shower till the water comes off. It's at 7.74. We got Flow, if you didn't know, at 51 cents. We've got, let's see what else. IOTA is at 15 cents. We got Curve at 47 cents. CSPR, I know a lot of you guys are bullish on Casper. It's at 3 cents right now. Gala, 1 cent. Sue, I think Gary Gensler doesn't know how to say those words anymore because he's been getting his butt kicked. Sue, right now, that's SUI, is at 43 cents. GMX is at $40.14. Pepe, is anybody still buying meme coins? I'm just saying, be careful. Lord, don't bank your family future on a meme coin. Not financial advice, I'm just saying. Woo is at 20 cents. We've got Lunk. Anybody still getting that one? It's at 4 zeros and a 6. We got Zilliqa, the real Dillica, at 1 cent. And coming in at number 100 is SafePal. That's exciting times, guys. That's your market cap right now, guys. Keep your eye on everything. And the one thing that I will tell you guys before bringing on my guest is, guys, control your emotions. The 5 things that we covered last week was making sure that you follow those 5 steps, which is have a strategic plan, do your own research, control your emotions, because if you do 1 and 2, it'll help you with number 3, which is emotions. That's the biggest killer in this space. Number 4, learn how to take profit. And number 5, you know what? Don't fall in love with anything. I'm in love with my wife and kids. That's it. Crypto projects are not to be, where you fall in love with them. Always do your research, find the best assets, and also make sure that you're in a position to always reallocate your portfolio, right? Because things can change. I mean, some of you guys might have been holding Celsius and Luna and FTT, and guess what? They're not here anymore. So just be careful in all the things that you guys do out there. we want you guys to have success. Also, for those of you guys that didn't notice earlier, just before this show, which is why I was a couple minutes late, myself and Edo Farina, which is the X and YouTube sensation out of Europe, we have a new show called The Standard. So you guys check it out right here on my X page. You can see that we went on at the last minute. We got 1,000 views within 30 minutes. It's absolutely nuts, but that's a show that everyone's looking forward to. Also, our X Spaces with Jack the Rippler, King Dogo, and many others like Crypto Geek. Make sure you guys check that out. We typically come in on the weekends and typically on Mondays as well. And so, guys, without further ado, there's a lot of things that you guys can check out. But if you look in the background here and you see this lovely lady here, we're going to introduce who she is. For those of you guys who remember my little brother, somebody who I have tremendous respect for, he was on talking about $1 million mindset. His name is John Singh. Well, his wife is also an extraordinary entrepreneur. They're very, very heavily invested in crypto. They're the ones who actually taught me the 5Gs by Robert Kiyosaki, which is gold and guns and grub. And because of them and how tight-knit we are as a family, again, they're like family to me. They just had an amazing little one, which is my nephew. I'm such a proud uncle. I'm such a proud uncle. Good Lord. No, but I'm just really, really excited about that. And they were also the ones who really got me to look into real estate. They was like, look, James, in 2021 when we left Hawaii and my wife and I went to go visit Vegas, they were there, and I was like, oh my God, because I've known this guy since I was probably 30 some odd years at least. And his mom was my very first job at 13, and I loved them so much. And so I found out they were there, and then he started turning me on to real estate. He's like, look, Jay, there's opportunity out here. We're getting 10 acres. Would you like to get some? So we got 5 of those acres out there. They just built their dream home. Is freaking amazing. They're living the dream, but they really taught me, opened my mind up on as far as not just being invested in one thing. So they've got properties in different parts of the United States. Very, very amazing people. They're also two of the biggest speakers in what they do right now, where they travel the world. And this is what his wife specializes in, guys, which is health and finances. And so she's taught me and Jeanette so much. And her story is just so profound. So, guys, without further ado, you guys help me welcome. Let me see if I can get her on here. My sister, the myth, the legend, Miss Veronica Singh. Are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay, Mr. McFadden?
I can hear you absolutely clear as a bell. How's everything going out there in Vegas?
It's better than beautiful. In fact, it's hot and sunny as usual.
Well, for those of you guys don't know, again, they were the reasons that we moved to Vegas, and then we had an opportunity to come out here to wine country for an investment property, which has just sold. And while everyone else is out there dressing up on Halloween, we're actually going to be on the road moving back to Vegas as our place has just sold. And one of the biggest reasons that we're moving out there is because of Veronica and her husband John, which is, again, they're like family. So Veronica, I'm so excited to have you on. It's the first time that we've had you on the show. We've had John on multiple times. I've been looking forward to this. So just kind of give us a quick little overview, if you will, of I guess let's make it personal before we get into business. Just how we know each other and our family and those type of things. Then we'll get into business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had the opportunity to meet you and your beautiful wife. I think it was back in, I want to say 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my husband has known you forever. You guys pretty much grew up together.
That's right.
And I remember I had just relocated from Chicago, which is where I was born and raised, relocated to Fresno, California. And for me, it was like culture shock. And I didn't know really anybody out there, of course, except for John. And so I remember getting to meet you and your beautiful wife, and I quickly became like family because I could tell just your heart, her heart. And I remember it felt very opening for me to know that your wife was there if I needed her, and just to have another friend that I can call family. And so that I remember that's how we met. And we've obviously built an incredible relationship since. And I know that John has always spoken highly of both of you, and I could see why. So that's kind of our story. But man, it's crazy to go back to 2016 and think
right?
what
It's
that's
great.
like.
I know, and like I said to everyone before, I mean, for me, and they've met John, they've seen John in the very beginning when I started 11 months ago. They got to see John the other day, as he's one of the youngest entrepreneurs I've ever met in my life, and we've known each other for such a long time, and some of the groundbreaking things that he's accomplished, and one of the things that for me as a big brother is what he calls me, and how I look at myself when it comes to him and I's relationship is, he's had all this success, but the one thing that he was missing, the one thing that was the notch in his belt that just made me feel super proud, and I know it made his mom, my mother, which I call our mom, Cream, very super proud, is the day he met you and he was able to solidify his success, because that's really ultimately what success is. It's your family. Money and all those things are just a byproduct of the things that you do. So I definitely, and let me just say how much I appreciate you guys, because if it wasn't for you, my mind wouldn't have been on real estate. Obviously we have the 5 acres with you guys out there, which is 10 acres, 10 acres total. And then you guys turn us on to the 2 acres in Utah, which we had no idea existed. So we have 2 acres in that beautiful place out there in Utah with you guys as well. And I know at the time that, you guys didn't have to do that, but you guys just showed so much love and compassion, and we were able to get you guys into crypto. So you and John are really, really big in crypto. I won't get too much into that. But one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on, and one of the things that I started doing here lately, Veronica, is getting people to open their minds up and understand that you just don't want to have one thing, right? A lot of entrepreneurs, and I want you to talk about this, a lot of successful people that we both have met and that we know, they have multiple streams of income. And one thing that I love about you and John, even when crypto fell off and went all the way back down to 15,000, you and John were building a global business. You and John have multiple rental properties around the United States. You guys are buying land. You guys are investing in gold. I mean, I used to trip out because we would go out with you guys in Vegas and go, hey, you guys want to go have dinner? And they're like, okay, yeah, as soon as we get back from buying a bunch of gold. I'm like, what? I mean, it's like it was something that you guys did almost every stinking week. And I'm just like, so it started to become infectious. And John's like, yeah, James, I'm going out here to buy my wife this, I don't know, $10,000 gun with like, all the presidents on it. It's made of, and I'm just like, what? I mean, you guys, and it's like, James, that's another store of value. So I mean, just you guys really taught me a lot about opening my mind up that I really didn't really pay attention to. There's things that I invested in, and one of the things that I have to say about you too is that I love your honesty, because I remember one time you guys came over to the house, and on a side note, John goes, he was telling me, he's like, my wife's like, why the hell does James got all these cars? He need to be invested in real estate. And that's when I'm saying, maybe I need to listen to sis. So, but no, just talk about why it's so important. And obviously your professional background is bigger than crypto. Let's talk about some of the things that you guys are doing to have multiple streams of income. And I know at the forefront of that is not only crypto, but it's also health and wellness. And you teach people how to be financially smart for their future. So go ahead and share that if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, and what I will do first is I'll actually go back and share kind of my journey to how I got to this place where I am today, because I think it's very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of individuals who might be on here watching this on the live or on the replay, you'll be able to relate a lot to my story. In fact, if I go back to, let's go back to 2016, right before I moved to California, I was still working a full-time job. I was working in the IT operations space. If anybody knows anything about IT, it's a big, big industry. And I was doing well at my career, but I was also stressed to the max. I had anywhere working between 40 to 60 hours a week, depending on additional work that I needed done. And financially, I was living what you call the definition of insanity, right? Working to make the paycheck, and then the paycheck would come in, it would pay all of my bills, and then I would have more month left at the end of my money. That's right. And so I kept living that definition. Luckily, I had known John and seen the success that he's had in his life. And it was a big inspiration to me, because I realized that I didn't want to be working a job for the rest of my life. And so I knew that in order to get out of that definition of insanity, I needed to create a change in my life. And so in 2016, once we relocated to California, I had the opportunity to learn about financial literacy. And if I back up just a little bit, I actually had a job working at the bank prior to working in the IT space. So I would say a little bit of knowledge in the financial world. In fact, I had studied prior. I'd gotten my securities licenses, and I was planning to become a financial advisor. And the only reason I left that industry was because I did not believe that I should be a person telling individuals to invest their money into things that I was not doing at the time because I was in debt. And I'm like, who am I to be in debt up to my eyeballs, having over $116,000 in debt, to go tell somebody to invest their money into a certain plan or mutual funds or whatever the case is, and not be doing it myself? I don't believe in that. I'm not a hypocrite. If I teach somebody to do something, it's because I've done it before and it's created success in my life. Right. And so as we fast forward, when I moved to California, I had the opportunity to learn from some of the most successful people I'd ever met in my entire life. And they started to educate me around what is called the 5 keys to money mastery. Okay. And I don't know about you, but I remember when they asked me if I knew what those 5 keys were, I kind of sat back and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. What are the 5 keys? Right. So very simply put, this is what the 5 keys are. Number 1 is making money. Number 2 is managing money. Okay. Number 3 is saving money. Now, when I say saving, I don't mean just saving to save. And we'll get into that in a moment, because we know that the value of the dollar today is nowhere close to where it was. That's right. So when I say save, it's saving for specific things. And then number 4 is protection of money, which is actually one of the most vital pieces that most everybody forgets about. That's right. And number 5 is growing your money. So what I learned about these 5 keys is that you have to have all 5 keys working simultaneously in order to create what is called true long-term wealth. Wow. And when I learned about this and I started actually thinking about my own financial situation back in 2016, all that I really knew how to do really well was make money.
Now I don't want to cut you off, but I have to ask if you can say that. Let me say what's up to some more people that just came in. Anthony Wanner, Nez Force, Beekeeper 69, always one away. All you guys, welcome. I see a lot of people jumping in. Big Bro 10. Thank you guys for being here. Can you do me a favor and say those 5 things quickly again? Because that's so important, especially for those of us who are in crypto. It's one thing to make this money. What do you do when you get it? And that's, I think, I've seen and I've met so many people that went from 0 to 100 real quick, and from 100 to back to 0 real quick as well. So please say those 5 things again.
Make, manage, save, protect, grow your money.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Yep. And so when I looked at my situation, I realized that all I really knew was making money. I wasn't managing it properly. I had debt up to my eyeballs. I had started putting money into some plans, like your typical company sponsored 401k plans. But I also lost a lot of that money when, we know that markets can go like this. Right. And so I had lost a lot of money too, because I just didn't know what I didn't know. I was doing what people had told me to do, but I didn't quite understand it way back when. And so in that year of 2016, I also had the opportunity to start building a business. Right. And I believed in business ownership. I had actually started my first business back in 2012. Oh, wow. And I had a little bit of success, nothing that, replaced my income or allowed me to leave my job. But I believed in business ownership for the tax deductions that you can take legally, right. And for the things that it could do in increasing income on a part-time basis. So I always believed in that. But I really didn't have that type of success in business until that year of 2016, right. Which was because I was surrounded by incredible mentors in all different capacities. And what I decided to do is, if you've ever heard, I'm sure you remember this, James, somebody has probably told you this at some point, is that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room. That's right.
So I recognized that. And 2016, I just had the opportunity to be in a room of people who were way smarter than me. Right. And I chose to be a sponge, mm-hmm. and to absorb as much as I possibly could. And then the other thing I chose to do was I started to apply the knowledge that was being taught to me. Because what I will tell you is that knowledge is not power. Some people may tell you that knowledge is power. Right. No, that's incorrect. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge only becomes powerful when it's applied. Right. That's right. And so I started to apply it. And of course, I've learned so many things along the way. But in 2016, I was able to release a ton of debt. I didn't pay off all 6 figures of debt, but I released a ton of it. I learned how to raise my credit score so that I could then restructure debt, shaving off somewhere close to like $17,000 of interest off of the life of the loans that I was going to pay. And this was all just through compounding my education. And so fast forward to today, all of the things that you kind of shared, right? I've gotten into real estate investing. I've started to learn about cash flow and how the game of money is really around cash flow, but how to take your cash flow to invest it into assets that create additional cash flow versus taking money from your pocket each month. And it's just that process that I've done since 2016 till now that's allowed me to create a portfolio that I never thought was possible in my 30s. I'm in my mid 30s.
And let me pause you on that because I want you guys to understand some of the things that she's saying. What's up, Frankie Legend? Welcome to the stream. It's. I remember walking into the house because when we came to Vegas, obviously there was a wow moment for, I believe John before me and Sis got back around each other. John came over and he's like, "Dude, how are you doing all this?" And I was able to show him my crypto wallets and I was able to show him some of the money I was generating. And John was like, "Dude, this is ridiculous." But then I remember him going like, "What are you doing with this money? Like, what are you doing with it?" And I remember going back over to you guys' house and I'd walk into your office and this is what really made my mind open. And this is why I want you guys to really hang on to every word that Veronica is saying. I got into the office and I looked up on the wall and they had this 10 acres of property over here. They had multiple acres of property over here. They had a vision board. They had this and that. I'm just like, this is the same stinking John. This guy's had this his whole his whole life, and now his wife is doing the same thing. And all I saw was vision, just vision, 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 and just that along with their habits of always going out there investing in things. And he sat me down and I said, "What is all this?" He goes, "Oh, those are all our properties." I'm like, "Good." I realized at that point, it's kind of like she said, I needed to be a person in the room with people who were doing better than I was as far as what I was doing with my money, right? And it made me really sit back because of you guys. I'm going to be honest with you, because of you guys, because I was so caught up in a moment of wow. I mean, like I tell people all the time, my wife would walk in the room and be like, "It's like we're living a freaking dream. I can't believe what's going on." And you get so caught up in all that you forget, Veronica, like you said, you don't prepare, right? You don't prepare for that storm. You sit on top of the mountain and you think, hey, it's going to stay this way, and you don't prepare for that retracement. And that's one of the things that you guys helped me out a lot with, is just really being a visionary, really understanding and planning for the future. So I just wanted to share that with everyone here. Welcome, Crypto Tales. Go ahead, Veronica. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah, well, and I have to share with you and your viewers that I appreciate you because when it comes to even in crypto, I'm the first to admit I was never an expert in this. I still am not an expert today, but I understand when I meet smart people and I know people who are winning and having success. And for years, in fact, before we had that conversation and sat down and seen you guys again, I remember many people approaching me about cryptocurrency, especially because I'm in the finance space in a different capacity. And I had shared with a lot of people like, nope, not interested. Nope, don't want to touch it. That, there were so many things. I'm a natural skeptic. That is my personality at heart. I'm the first to admit it. But when I sat down and listened to what you had to share about it, and obviously the validity of what you've done and proven, I believe documentation beats conversation 100% of the time, and you're documented. And so as I listened to you share, I started just thinking to myself, wow, this makes a lot of sense. And so what I understood from the education I had taken since 2016, and then listening to you, I then understood, okay, cryptocurrency is a long-term strategy and it's piece to the portfolio. And so I'm grateful for all of that you've shared with us and the knowledge you continue to share with us, because it blows my mind that, and I understand people can have that skepticism, it's natural, but when you start to look at the validity of some of these projects, it's pretty powerful what I believe crypto is going to be doing in the future and what it is already doing for others. So
absolutely. So I mean, and so not only from the financial aspect, we have a lot that we share as family. And again, I think there's a lot that you guys can say you guys got from me. And that's what I love about being around people like-minded. They always say you are equivalent to the people that you hang around with, and there's always amazing things that happen when you put yourself around people that are on your level. And so I see nothing but blessing after blessing after blessing being around you and John, vice versa. But let's talk about some things that also shocked me about you as well. Was not only the position that you guys have taken and the mindset you guys have for your financial future, which is something that really have me and Jeanette thinking long term, but also your person, and again, I don't want to share too much, that has gone through a lot as far as with health. And I think your story propelled you on this mission, because I remember being around you guys and you were just I was like, John, where's sis at, or Veronica? And he's like, oh, she's on the phone with doctor something. She's on with this. I mean, you're just a sponge for knowledge, and how you able to apply some of those things that you've learned to really not only defy the odds of some of the things that were ailing you, but also some of those things could have maybe affected your life in, as far as having children and things. But you were able to go out there and search for the answers. And if there's nothing that you've taught me as a professional, as my little brother John's wife, a sister, someone who I really, really admire you for always finding the answer. That's one thing I can say about you. You always find the answer to the problem. You're not a boo-hoo, poor me, poor my. You go out there and figure it out. And so just talk about how that led you to be this person that honestly a lot of people go back to, including us. We were scared to death during the COVID situation. We were scared to death with questions that we had when they were, first person I called when they were talking about amputating my 11-year-old nephew's arm from cancer. I said, my God, I got to call Veronica. You're just a wealth of information. So let's talk about what made you do that from your personal story and where you're at today with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it stems back to same time frame, 2016, even prior to that. So I actually started having severe gut issues in my early 20s. I can never remember the exact year that it started, but I remember I was still working at the bank. So it had to be anywhere between 2009 to 2011. And it started with having like irregular bowel movements. And it's so funny because I would never talk about this years past, but now that I've been able to heal and really live and thrive in my 30s, I always tell people I feel like I'm healthier in my 30s than I was in my 20s. Yeah. It's because I went through this point or period of time where I was really struggling with some chronic illness. And it took me about 6 or 7 years, multiple doctors, tens of thousands of dollars in medical bills that just piled up until I could find like the root of the problem. And I love that I talk about both health and finances because they really do go hand in hand. Right. And my financial situation was causing stress, which naturally was not helping my health at all. And it was only making my gut issues even worse. Right. And so that's why I say it goes hand in hand. And I'll even share some really crazy stats. And these are more apparent today than they were years ago, but they were still pretty bad years ago. And I want to talk about it from both perspectives, because I think this is important for people to understand, or I think it's also important that if you haven't considered this, to start considering this. And one of the things I want to talk about first is kind of the debt that exists in the US. Okay. Like today, we have a record 17.1 trillion in household debt, 12 trillion in mortgages, 1.6 trillion in auto loans, 1.6 trillion in student loans, 1 trillion in credit card debt. Mortgage debt is now more than double the 2006 peak. What's even crazier is 36% of Americans have more credit card debt than they do savings. Jeez. Student loan payments are set to resume for the first time since like 2020. So there's individuals who have not been paying on their student loans that are now going to have to start paying on their student loans again. And what's even crazier is if you notice, interest rates are skyrocketing. Yeah. We've got actual interest rates on mortgages are at 7% or higher. Credit card debt rates have hit a record of 25%. We're literally fighting inflation with debt. Right. And we're printing more and more money while we continue to devalue the dollar. But then let's talk about this on the flip side, because how does this impact our health? Right? Well, number one, stress we know is one of the largest killers, or silent killers, I should say, because some people don't recognize it. And what most people also don't realize is the statistics on chronic disease and chronic illness. Now, I first have to explain what is a chronic illness for people to understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Disease to be considered chronic is something that persists for at least a year or longer and typically requires ongoing medical attention. And it also tends to limit daily activities for the person, right? So this could be autoimmune issues. It could be a whole list of things. Now, here's what's really crazy about these statistics is that 47% of the US population, which is close to 150 million Americans, have suffered from at least one chronic disease as of 2014, wow, which I believe those rates are higher today. And when we start talking about actual children, 27% of children in the US suffer from a chronic condition. Jesus. And about 6% of children have more than one chronic condition. Jesus. In fact, this is so wild that it's been stated that today's generation of children may not outlive their parents.
And I don't want to sound funny, but me and you and my wife and John over dinner have had detailed, because we have 6 kids. You guys are bringing your son now into the world, and we have to call a spade a spade. It's because of our diets and how we eat and the way the food is being processed today, right?
Yep. And when you start talking about that from an economical standpoint, this is costing trillions of dollars.
Crazy. Wow.
And what's even worse is it's only helping people maintain their daily life. But most individuals who are passing away today, like, sure, we may have individuals who live longer, but are they living healthy lives until they pass? That's not what's happening. And so I looked at these two things, and I looked at my own life, and I realized that I was struggling with both of those areas. And I recognized that each one goes hand in hand. And if you can get both of those keys in your life working simultaneously, your health and your finances, imagine what more you could give back to your community when you've got everything fixed in your own household.
Well, not just that, sis. And one of the things that I remember when I was a kid, I look at my grandma who was in her 60s, and my granny who was in her 80s, that, lived to like 80 something, 90 something. And a lot of people, I thought, oh man, okay, I can kind of see where I'm going to be at in life. Today, you're hoping to hit 60 or 70. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yep. Yep. And I believe that you can thrive, but you've got to be willing to take, just like I had to be willing to take responsibility. Right. You have to be willing to face the mirror, right, take responsibility for where you're at in life and where you're not. Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to change it, you can change it. I am a walking testament that your health can thrive, your finances can thrive. But I also, if I look at where I was years ago to where I am not the same human being. Right. I'm not. Exactly. Right. And I believe that everybody can do that if they're willing to. And that's what I get excited about. That's why I love to get on interviews like this. That's why I love that you and I get to talk about this, because right, I truly believe and have helped not only myself do this, but I've also helped people do it over the course of the last almost 8 years now. And it's been an absolute blessing. But the only people that I choose to work with are people that are willing to make the changes.
Well, can you give us, if you don't mind, and shouts out to Jay Kill, shouts out to Hans Loaded. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Thank you guys all for jumping in right now. Can you give us an example of both financial and health on how people may be able to take advantage of that? Like some of the things they can do. I'm sure there's little, steps or things that you can implement because like I said, even though I look at 60, 70, there's some things I can do to probably change that narrative. Even though I look at the fact that maybe I don't have the money saved up that I want, or I'm not where I need to be out financially, because that does happen. And there's so many stories that we talk about where people have had those moments where, oh my God, I had $100,000. Oh my gosh, I don't even got 1,000. So what can people do to, just a couple examples of each one?
Yeah. So the first biggest thing I say is awareness in all areas. So when we talk from the finance perspective, the awareness starts with create what I call a cash flow statement. And this is so simple to do. Okay. You just have to take the time to do it. And you sit down. So if you take a sheet of paper, you put a cross in it. So you have 4 boxes. Okay. On the top, you're going to actually first do your monthly income. Okay. So you start actually writing out.
Take notes, guys. Please take notes. Go ahead.
Yeah. In your household, if you have a partner or, a whole family, you write out the total monthly income that you have coming into the household.
Okay.
Total that. Your second box is going to be your monthly expenses,
Okay.
what I call both fixed and flexible expenses. I'll give you an example. Fixed expenses could be like your mortgage. That's a fixed amount that you're paying each month. Your flexible expenses are things that could, be flexible each month. Gasoline you put in your car,
eating out, that kind of stuff.
Eating out, food, all that type of stuff. But you want to get a good list of your total monthly expenses.
Okay.
Then your bottom two are going to be your assets on the bottom, right? It doesn't matter where the sheet goes, just place it at your assets. Now, this is what you own that actually has value in it. So now this is if you've got a home or other properties, if you're in real estate, it's actually listing what's the value of that home.
Okay.
And this is a very interesting topic too, when we start talking about a home that you have a mortgage on, because a lot of people will say, oh, your home is an asset. But in reality, if it's taking money out of your pocket every single month, it's a liability.
I see.
Now, granted, could you go sell that home if it's worth a higher dollar amount and get money back? Of course you can. And in that point, you'd be creating a profit for yourself. But what I don't want people to get tripped up on is the fact that they think that their home is an asset if it's continually taking money from your pocket every single month.
I see. Okay.
And I learned this from Robert Kiyosaki, one of the most brilliant men in finance. So if you don't know about him, go read his book, Cash Flow Quadrant, one of the best books you ever read.
Okay.
And then in your last category, you put your liabilities. And so your liabilities would be actually totaling up the total amount of stuff that you owe on, like the actual dollar amount. So if you've got car loans, what's the total liability on that? If you've got obviously a mortgage, what's the total liability on that? If you have any other loans, even if it's credit card debt, what's the total amount that's owed? Those are all liabilities taking money from your pocket each month. And when you do that, just that quick statement, which can usually take 20 to 30 minutes to add it all up, if you have more month left at the end of your money and your liability column is a lot larger than your asset column, your finances need a little bit of work.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's where I was. I looked at that and I will tell you, my asset column was pretty much non-existent. And so from 2016 on, I said, my goal is now let's switch that narrative. And I slowly created compounding habits. And one of those compounding habits was while I was paying off debt, I was also taking a percentage of all the income that I was earning and putting it aside into strategic plans to have it compound and grow.
I see.
Okay. And that was the habit that made the difference from then till now, because that habit over the course of the next few years allowed me to compound additional growth of income that I could then utilize that money in strategic ways, like getting into real estate. But if I hadn't done that, I would have never been able to do some of the things that we've been able to do in real estate.
Wow. So that's on the wealth side. How about some examples of what people can do to enhance their life on the health side?
Yep. So on the health side, I always say start with some of the simple things because it's a lifestyle habit. It's a habit that has to be created as a lifestyle habit. If you just start doing something to do it, you're never going to stick to it long term. And so one of the easiest things that I started doing when I first started getting my gut health in order was, yes, I started working with some really smart people who helped me identify what was going on. So I would say first, go that route in terms of finding somebody that you can trust. I chose the holistic route because I tried the other route first, but I was just racking up debt. And by the way, this is not to say that the medical system doesn't work. I just believe that when it comes to a chronic illness, if you've got an acute injury, right? Like you break your arm, something happens, go get it fixed. But if you have a chronic illness, like what I was dealing with, I believe that what I have found, chronic illness has to be changes in your lifestyle, and you have to get to the root of the problem. And the way that I was able to get to the root was working with some alternative naturopathic doctors, people who worked in that alternative health space. And so that's number one. But number two is, how do you start to create some of those lifestyle habits? Well, start with basic things that you know that are important for your health. Number one, you got to get movement into your body. I don't care if it's 20 minutes of stretching your body on a yoga mat every morning. I don't care if it's 20 to 30 minutes walking outside and getting some sunshine and vitamin D.
I got you.
Basic things like that are ultimately going to help
Wow.
when compounded over the long term.
Right.
Right? Number two is we know we should be drinking more water. Everybody should be drinking more water. But are you actually tracking to see if you're doing that? Well, one of the ways I do that is I carry around a mug in my house and I actually kind of track how much water that I drink. I don't, it's not like I'm using an app every day. I just count how many glasses. And it's become habit now that I drink plenty of water every single day. Water helps with so many different things, right?
Right.
Now, there is a thing that I am learning. I won't get into this because I'm still learning about it, of over hydrating yourself. So there is a thing of underhydration and there is a thing of overhydration.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we won't even get into that because that's a whole other topic for another day. But
and I know there's different, not to go too far into it, but not all water is created equally, right? Because I know when I go to you guys' house, it's not like you're grabbing water out of your, out of some faucet that's just tapped into the Vegas, line or whatever. You guys are very, careful in what you're putting into your body, right?
well, and what's crazy about that is we'll just talk about tap water for a second. Like if you look at what's in tap water, there is excess pharmaceuticals in tap water. There's fluoride in tap water. There's so much garbage that's just in tap water. And so, yes, we're talking about clean, filtered water. And that again is, like you said, it's a topic that you could probably talk for hours on.
Right.
But yes, clean, filtered water, and ideally making sure it's got minerals in it.
Now, I want to bring up something else when you talk about holistic, because there's something that that we have a mutual friend that shared, and it really blew my mind. And I remember going back to my wife and her mom and going, "Oh my God, I get it now." And I had to put the two together. Ryan Loof, we remember Ryan Loof, who was diagnosed with cancer. I believe he's in remission, cancer free right now. The guy's out there playing in pickleball tournaments all over the world. Well, years ago they told him he only had so much time to live, and he went a holistic route, and it had to do with not only the things that he was taking holistically, but he was telling me how he trained his mind to disassociate cancer with himself. And I'm like, what? And he was telling me things that he from a mental aspect of how he cured himself from cancer. And I'm just like, dude. And then when he said, we got into a conversation, and I had like a oh my God moment when I realized that my wife's mother's mother, who was diagnosed to be gone within a year or two, lived like another 9 years. And they said that the reason that it happened, she would go into the doctor and they're like, look, she has stage 4 or something like that, or stage 3, 4. But what happened is her dementia didn't allow for her to remember that she had cancer. Therefore, because she didn't believe it or accept it, people say, Mom, you shouldn't be doing this. They would always go, I want to go, and say, Mom, you have cancer. She was like, no, I don't have that old stupid cancer, whatever you're talking about. And it's like, because of that dementia, she didn't believe it. So therefore, her life was expended like 7 more years. And when Ryan told me, I said, oh my God, your mind plays a part of that. So just going back to that topic and how that can help out as well, along with holistic. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Your mindset. In fact, what is it been stated? What the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve.
That's right.
And your mind is so powerful, and that is vital in health and finances. Like if you tell yourself that you're sick or you're going to pass or you're this. In fact, I've met people who are like, I'm going to die in 3 years. I'm like, cancel clear. Why would you ever put that in your brain?
Right. That's right.
And so, yes, your mind is the most powerful thing, and it only works when it's open. Right. It's like a parachute. It only works when it's open. Right. So if you're willing to feed yourself, and some of the easiest ways to do that is stand in front of a mirror every single day and tell yourself, I am strong. I am beautiful. I am, powerful. Fill yourself up with those words of affirmation, and it does make a difference.
I love it.
And you say, I am healthy, right? So those are just very simple things that you can add into a daily regimen, and it does make a difference. And I know it made a difference for me because I didn't do that years ago, but now it's like a habit for me. I don't stand in the mirror. I just do it as I walk around. But those are some basic things. And then the last thing I'll share on the health end is we all know that our food today is not the same as where it was years ago. In fact, I remember reading a statistic, something to the tune of, in order to get the same nutritional value from an orange in today's world, because of the over farming, the pesticides, herbicides we spray on crops, which, by the way, when you do that to crops, you're literally pulling the minerals from the soil, which is what creates phytonutrients in foods. So if you were to try to get the same nutritional value from an orange today, you'd have to eat close to 8 oranges.
Jeez.
I mean, it's wild. And so I believe that supplementation is powerful to start putting back in the good nutrients into your body. Because again, I don't believe that your body is actually needing pharmaceuticals. It's nutritionally deficient.
Right.
When you feed your body the right nutrients, it's amazing what your body can do. And so most individuals, because of the way that they eat and because of the way our food is created today, they're not getting the same nutritional value from their food.
Right.
When we start talking about the impact of chronic illness really is stemming at the core from nutritional deficiencies.
Right.
And of course, toxicity and stuff like that. But it's amazing. And I'm a true testament that when I started adding nutrients into my system after being tested to find out what I was deficient in, it's amazing how my body started to just whip right back into shape.
That's crazy. Wow. Wow. And so that's amazing. And guys, before we get out of here, I'm going to actually welcome Miss J Kills, Nesforce, all you guys that hear my sister Liz, Anthony Wanner. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys in our Telegram. Matter of fact, Liz, can you put our Telegram group link down in the chat? In our Telegram group, you guys can actually find Veronica. You can find Veronica and John. That's what I'm saying. Some of these guys have coexisted with us from the day that I started my YouTube and my Telegram. And you guys probably don't even know that they're sitting there. But if you go in, you'll see Veronica Singh is there. And if you guys reach out to Veronica, she actually mentors, she actually coaches people in both of these areas and have been doing it for a long time. So even with all the success that John has, she's equally as successful. And there's companies that actually fly her out around the world to teach people about financial literacy and for about health and wellness and to share her story. So for anybody who's interested in that, go into our Telegram and find Veronica, give her a DM. And let her know that, hey, I like to get more information on how I can enhance myself, both in the financial world, maybe open my mind up to some of the things that you and John are doing. What are you guys doing to make more income, whether it's in the wealth, the health, the real, whatever it is, real estate industry, just talk to her. She's an amazing person. Her door is wide open. Now, she is busy, so leave a message and she'll get back to you when time permits. But that's what her and John, that's one of the reasons we get along so well is they actually thrive on helping people. They're two of the biggest givers that I know. So something that you brought up just a moment ago as we get ready to end this, I know we're going to be pushing an hour here in a minute, is going back to what you're saying is when you, it's one thing to get all the information. It's another thing to take action. I've had uncles, I remember when coming up and we were very poor and they were so, like my Uncle Dave was really smart. He would always have these drafts. He went to school to like do drafting or something like that. Just always seemed brilliant, but was the brokest person that I know. And there's so many people that you meet and you go, oh my God, he's brilliant. But then he said, okay, I'll see you later. He gets on the bus. It's like, what's going on? So the point I'm making, and not to downplay anyone getting on the bus. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the information that you have, like you said, is only as good as how you apply it, right? And it's the same thing with anything in life, right? So one of the things I always tell people is, DYOR, which is do your own research. A lot of times people get on social media, and I want you to kind of go back because you've talked about that, but go back to how those things could play a part in those of us who are in the crypto space as far as doing your research. Why is it important? Because I know when you and John got involved, you would come back to me and say things to me. I'm like, what? Like, I'm supposed to be teaching you what's going on. And you would go back and John's like, James, Veronica's been on the internet for hours, and then you'll come back and say something like, oh my God, so you're one of those people that just go out and you find the right answers and you get the information. Why is it important for people to do their own research, Veronica, and then apply those things? Not just get information, but apply it. And how does that relate to crypto in your opinion?
Well, I think number one, we just have to tackle the big elephant that's out there, and it is social media. And unfortunately, social media is a place where anybody can share whatever they feel like sharing, right? And So you have to use what I call discernment, right? You can go out there and read something, but what I always share and what I take to heart is I never take what somebody says
That's right.
as word until I can validate that that's the reality as to what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because just with what I've been doing for the past almost 8 years now, there are people that I know that genuinely will paint this rosy picture online. And the reality as to what their situation is the exact opposite. Or who they act as if they are online is who they are not in real life. And
can I have you pause for just a second? Because I met a lot of the people that I'm associated with right now from different places. And that's always been my number one issue is you and I and John have been trained in the art of getting to know people and reading people within the first 5 minutes. So crucial to the things that we do in business. Yeah. And one of the things that has been one of my biggest issues with social media, YouTube, whatever, is that you can fake it for a while, just like you can do anything else in life. But over time, things start getting exposed. And then what we do as people in relationships or in business, we start saying, we start making excuses for the people and the things that they do that really clearly show us who they are. I've seen it happen personally. Some of these people have seen it happen. I've also seen it happen. Some of the biggest, influencers in this space, where 1 minute they're on top of the mountain, biggest channel ever, claiming they making tens of millions. That's taken away. Relationships are destroyed. So I won't get too much into that, other than saying amen, because one of the things I always talk about is you don't know if a guy was, and again, I say this kindly, but if a guy was a street hustler at 1 minute and then he's a YouTuber at the next, or he's trying to tell you how to plan your financial future, but all he's really doing is shilling, and when he gets off of that, he's going to work at this minimum wage. You just don't know who you're talking about, and that's the thing about social media. And I think there's a lot of deception, there's a lot of shilling, there's a lot of hidden narratives, there's a lot of things like that I personally see, Veronica, and it was a reason that I fought so long. I didn't want to get on social media because I paid my dues. You know my story, you know my family, you know my kids, you know my all those things, as does John. And I spent the majority of my life giving. So I was like, I really don't want to get on social media. I don't want to be, where I have this I have to be there. I got to show up. I got to do something. I just really wanted to enjoy my life in the latter part of my life. But then I started getting repulsed by some of the people I was following, some of the people's channels I was going to, and I'm like, wait a minute, one day you're this, the next day you're that, and so I'm not saying that people can't, no one's perfect, but right. Doggone it, I have a better chance of winning when I know who I'm dealing with, so I'm gonna go back to you on that.
Yeah, well, and I think the biggest thing that I've even seen in my own eyes over the last years is some of the wealthiest people I know, or some of the most successful business owners I know, are the quietest online. They're the quietest. And some of the loudest individuals online
That's right.
are actually struggling the most when it comes to their finances or maybe anything else. Yeah. And again, that's not to say that this person is wrong or whatever. It just, that's the world we live in. And so that's why I go back to, you have to use discernment. Right. And for me personally, the reason I started doing what I did back in 2016 was it wasn't really about money at all. It had to do with time freedom for me. That's right. And I just knew that money was the tool in order to create the time that I wanted. Right. I wanted children. I always knew that I wanted children, but I also knew that when I became a mom, which God blessed us with a beautiful baby boy, right? That is 7 months old. And this kid is everywhere today, like crawling around. He's starting to babble all the time. And it's the most beautiful thing to watch. But I also think about where I started in 2016 and the path that I went on in order to create the life that I have today, to have that true time freedom with our son and be able to be a stay-at-home mom. I always wanted.
Which, by the way, I bought him his first pair of Jordans. Just had to put it out there. Yeah.
And so I knew that, again, I had to create that. But when it comes to utilizing social media, I want to make an impact in the world. That is my biggest goal as I move forward with my life now. Right. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to spend 24/7 on social media, because for me, my time is best spent in conversations like we are today, or in conversations with individuals and teaching them the things that I've learned, because somebody, I should say a group of people, not just one person, but there was a group of people that cared enough about me when I was at my lowest point in life that lifted me up, taught me, mentored me, that now I believe it's my turn to give that back to other people.
And that's something I know about you guys wholeheartedly is your business, the things that you guys do is all about giving back. It's all about helping. Is it's I think the attraction that we have. My wife is one of the kindest, most giving people in the world, and it's the reason that you and her are best friends. And me and John are two of the biggest entrepreneurs you'll ever meet, and the mindset of wanting to help people and win and do better for our families, and how rooted that is, which is why we are so close. So thank you so much, Liz. Thank you so much, J Kills and CKS. Keep up the great work. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Getting a lot of love here for the stream today. I appreciate you guys. Again, don't forget, if you guys are getting a snapshot, just a tad bit of just how amazing Veronica Singh is. And it's not very often that I'm wowed. It's not very often that people, I remember looking over at John and going, bro, you got somebody as good, if not better than you are. It's just crazy when you have that type of person and knowledge and the things that she's doing. So by all means, guys, don't get off this stream and go, okay, I'm gonna go back to what I'm doing. There's some amazing fundamentals and principles that these guys use that have impacted my life. And that's the thing. I don't care how big you guys get or how big we get in life. You can always learn something new from someone. It's always great to be a sponge. Like Veronica said, I was always around, and you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And so I think that's very, very important. So again, go into our Telegram, look up Veronica, look up, I would say more so Veronica, as she's, she will be able to prioritize getting back to you. I know John's got a lot on his plate right now, but by all means, Veronica's the kind of person that really filters everything out, and if she gets back with you, you're very fortunate. And me and my wife feel very blessed to be able to always pick her brain. Like I said, some of the biggest moments and most detrimental moments in our lives, especially like I said, we were stuck. We didn't know what to do. Even with my son, if you guys go to my Crypto for Life page and you look at the front of my page, the very first video that comes up in my homepage is the video with my nephew, right? And you guys can see he had his arm amputated. We were trying to figure out what the best way to go with that. And as soon as I called Veronica, she had his mother on the phone with doctors and specialists. And I mean, that's just the kind of thing that they do and what they represent. And if there's any issue you guys have, just understand that it's not going to be, it's not going to come back to me. Whatever you guys call her for, whatever that may be, it's between you and her. And if she has a way of helping, she'll definitely be able to do that. So any last minute thoughts, sis, as we come up on about 20 seconds from being on an hour, that you want to leave with those that you have a lot of people who are very excited. So good. Thank you, Veronica. A lot of people who are very thankful for you being on the show. Anything you want to leave people with before they go?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I'll leave individuals with is if you want change in your life, whether it's from a health perspective, finance perspective, or something else, make changes today. Those small habits, it's putting one foot in front of the other every single day. You may not know what that whole path is going to look like, but if you start making those small changes today, you can win. And just be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace, especially if you have children. That is the biggest lesson I think I'm learning myself today, is that if you're a mom, if you're a dad, and you've got one, two, multiple kiddos, I understand how much harder it is to start making some of those shifts in your life in order to create what you want. So give yourself grace, but don't stop. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and making those small shifts, because those small changes compounded over time will make the biggest difference in your life long term.
Now, let me say this before you take off too. I know, and I'm not going to get into your personal business, but I know that you guys, in just the things that you guys collect, gold, guns, real estate, you guys have an assets what most people hope to accomplish probably in a lifetime. And that's because you have multiple streams of income coming in. Will it be okay if people contact you guys and you personally share those multiple streams of income if they contact you by DM through Telegram? Because I know that's something that me and Jeanette are working with you guys right now. You guys have already helped us with getting real estate that we've never owned through you guys and with you guys, partner up with you guys. You guys showed me how to utilize crypto to do that. And there's also multiple things that we're working on with you guys right now. to give us other options financially, and we'll do so. We'll probably even dig more into those things as we get into Vegas. So, would it be safe to say that you'll be able to share that those multiple streams of income as people contact you?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. So, guys, this is again Veronica Singh, health and finance specialist, incredible person, and I will co-sign on whatever she tells you guys because the lady is first class all the way, and one of the biggest leaders in the industry I was in, which is motivating and helping people and coaching people around the world. So, with that being said, Veronica, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Say hello to my nephew. I can't wait to get back out there and see and hug him. Say hello to my brother John, and we'll appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Guys, that is the one and only Miss Veronica Singh. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, I'm going to be bringing more and more people on the show talking about, the different things that they're doing. There's friends of mine that have made millions in real estate. There's friends of mine who've made millions in so many different facets of, let me go over here, of life. And some have done it in some of the just craziest ways that you would have never thought. These guys, like for an example, John and Veronica just built their dream home. He's the last time I was out there, he was building the roof deck to his place, a garage that fits like 20 cars. He's got every toy. They've got every toy you can think of, and again, they've got more assets than even when it comes to like gold and stuff. I'm just like, I'm shocked, and I'm a fan of how they live their lives and how they've been able to diversify. That they've got money coming in no matter if crypto went to zero, they're winning. If stocks went to zero, they're winning because they've been doing this over time. And so I would definitely tell you guys, reach out to her and learn a lot from her. So with that being said, let me say goodbye to everyone and how much I appreciate you guys. Liz, my sis Liz, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your generosity and support for the channel. Nesfor, thank you for always having my back. Miss, my man Jay Kills and Miss Jay Kills, you guys are incredible. Gold star. But even bigger than the star that represents by your name here, your hearts are gold, and I can't wait to the day that we're all winning to make sure that we are able to go to that party, because I know the party you guys have. What kind of party is going to be? Let me give you a taste of that right now. Woo!
Hey, look, 4 years and it's still no cheers. If fear selling and I'm still all in.
You guys know I can't have no stream without shouting out Mr. and Miss J Kills and playing my boy Tails.
What do you do when your freedom is in illusion? How high will it go when the X?
Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to that party, guys. Nest Force, appreciate Big Bro Tim's in the house. Appreciate you, my brother. Anthony Wanner. C-Kaz, one of our biggest supporters. Thank you so much, my brother C-Kaz. I appreciate you in a major way. OMC is in the house. Who else we got in here? Hans Loaded. Hans out there in a different part of the world. I appreciate you, my brother. Always showing support for the family. And the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend. I call him the prophet. Why? Because of this doggone song right here. Tails in the house. We appreciate you, Tails. Anybody else I miss? Let's see. Anybody else I miss? Let's see. We've got Big Bro 10, Frankie Legend, Beekeeper 69, Always One Away. I think Always One Away is going to be, his name's going to be, I made it. Always One Away? Nope, he made it. He's not one away anymore. Good Lord. Shouts out to my brother, Always One Away. Just having some fun there. Raster 2212, appreciate you, OMC. I appreciate you guys in a major way. Guys, tomorrow, Wednesday, Edo, Farina, and I are actually going to be going live with our channel called let me see if I can find it here, The Standard. So make sure you guys tune in. Let me see if I can find it here. Where are we at here? The Standard. So it's The Standard with Edo Farina and 6-8Jay. We're still trying to figure it all out. Today we were trying to figure out how to get guests on. So Edo and I are still trying to figure out the bugs on it. I know that my brothers over at the boardroom are using the same platform, so we're still trying to learn how to use it. But when that happens, you guys will be able to jump in. We'll have guests that are live. You can have up to 10 people, so that's 8 other people besides Edo and myself. So tomorrow, we're going live, The Standard. I don't know the time yet, but we'll definitely let you guys know this time. It'll probably be a couple times or so throughout the week, along with X Spaces and, of course, what we're doing here at Crypto for Life. Appreciate you guys in a major way. It's your boy James, a.k.a. 6-8Jay, and until next time, peace.